Well, we're going to get started. Thank you so much for coming out to this dedication ceremony. I want to do a very special welcome to our former Johnson director, Mr. Jerry Griffin. We also have Mr. George Abbey with us as well. This is a special day for us here at the Johnson Space Center as we're going to be celebrating our 60th anniversary. We kicked it off earlier with a panel of former center directors, and we're going to have a family celebration tonight at the Gill Roof, where we're going to have our community come together to celebrate Johnson Space Center. Right now, we're celebrating JSC. We were founded back in 1961. President Kennedy committed the nation to achieve the goal of landing a man on the moon and returning him safely to Earth before the end of the decade. And at that time, NASA's Space Task Group, in charge of America's human spaceflight program, was already working on Project Mercury to put astronauts into Earth orbit. But with the additional task of a human lunar landing, it soon outgrew its facilities at NASA's Langley Research Center in Hampton, Virginia. And the agency decided it needed a dedicated field for human spaceflight. And so on September 19, 1961, after evaluating multiple sites around the country, NASA announced that the new Manned Spacecraft Center would be built near Houston. And that's the origins of our home. We were later renamed to the Johnson Space Center in honor of former President Lyndon B. Johnson in 1973. But from the Mercury, Gemini, Apollo, and Shuttle programs to the International Space Station and Orion, the center has been the forefront of America's human spaceflight programs. Today, we're here to commemorate this legacy, thanks to the members of the Manned Spaceflight Operations Association, who have donated a trio of benches in honor of the support that was given by human spaceflight control teams of the past. These granite benches were privately funded by 98 of the nonprofit organization's members and installed here. We're thankful to the Manned Spaceflight Operations Association for dedicating these benches in honor of the flight control teams who captured the world's attention and demonstrated the power of America's vision and technology through many historic missions spanning Gemini to Shuttle. These benches will serve as a constant reminder of this lasting legacy as we work to inspire the next generation of explorers with our International Space Station and with our Artemis program. Now, I'm going to offer the stage to Mr. Jerry Griffin, who will give some remarks.
Thank you, Vanessa. This has been a day that it's taken a while to get here for a bunch of guys that just had an idea. And that bunch of people were in the Manned Spaceflight Operations Association. We refer to it sometimes as MSOA. It's shorter. Johnson Space Center did an amazing job on the restoration of the MOCR on the third floor here that many of these missions were flown from, all of these and several of those. When that was finished, and by the way, that was Sandra Tetley is standing right here, and she was a moving force early on and kept hammering on the door and of different people here at the center and really got it done. Then the Webster community and others around here funded the rest of that. Well, we thought at the MSOA, I'm former director, now director emeritus of the organization. We have 3 members here, I think. We got Bill Reeves, and we got Spencer Gardner, and we got Jerry Ross. I think that's all that's here. We got to thinking that, we paid tribute to the facility and restored it to what it was like the day we walked out of it. And we said, you know what? We haven't recognized the people that pass through these portals. And by the way, it involves more. When Vanessa says flight control, it was all of it, flight operations. It included the people over in an adjacent building here, Building 45, called the Mission Evaluation Room, which was our savior when we had a problem in the MOCR. Flight crew people that pass through here, lots of people, lots of government people, lots of contractor people. So we don't charge any dues. We got over 6,000 members. We haven't located all of them, but we got a good chunk of them. And when it came time to do something, we started digging at ideas of what we might do. And we had a monument, and we looked at things that almost were as big as the T-38s out in front of Space Center Houston. And then we looked at all kinds of other things that would have every name that we could identify. Well, those got to be a little bit too much. So we turned to Gene Kranz, was on our board, and he actually is a member of an organization called Super Sabre, and that was the F-100 guys that flew in the mid-50s. And they've got a similar arrangement to this for the different outfits at the Wright-Patterson Museum, Air Force Museum. So it was really Gene's idea that maybe we could go something like that. It's low profile, low maintenance, and it would last for a long, long time. These are black granite, and they're durable. Up steps JSC again. We had to have a place to put it, and these things are 1,500 pounds a piece, and the sidewalk wouldn't carry them. So again, we got Sandra Tetley involved, and the other people. I'm leaving people out of here, I know. But JSC actually poured this slab to their specifications, which deeper than the sidewalk. And Bill Reeves, our president of the association now, was totally instrumental in getting these things made and built and shipped to us and all of that. So it was a real team effort. It kind of fits our partnership thing we were talking about this morning on some of the space programs where you got commercial guys. Well, in this case, you had a nonprofit organization, and that made these possible. The Manned Spaceflight Organization is MSOA, I should say, has a website, and I invite you to see it when you can. You'll notice this ends with shuttle. For those of you that have ever flown missions in fighter aircraft, we're in a fingertip position here. You got the lead here, you got number 2 over here, and number 3 over here. We didn't do ISS. It's still an operational program. That generation will have their chance to do something similar either on this site or other side of the building or sometime later. So, and then the same of then Artemis. Artemis will have its chance. So that's the story of the benches. Today we want to dedicate these benches to the people that pass through here, dedicate primarily to the Johnson Space Center for your safekeeping, and we look forward to having visitors look and question what they are, and we're going to do something for our entire organization later, probably in the summer, and we couldn't get them all here. Even the people that live locally, if we had invited them, we might have been overwhelmed. That was worrying us. But we wanted to get this step and dedicate this to JSC and all the people that pass through here. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Jerry. And I want to thank all of the members of the MSOA, and also agree, and for all of the people that will come to visit, as Space Center Houston visitors come this way to go upstairs, they will get an opportunity to see this and to remember and reflect on all of the support that was given to make all of those missions possible. I want to also thank you all for coming out, and again, for those that are able to join us tonight, to join us for the 60th, and we will take some questions. Jerry and I will be available for the media to take some questions for the next few minutes. Thank you.
And then I I went and did different things after Apollo's for years, Mercury, Gemini, and Apollo, and even in the ASTP and the Skylab years. It was a young bunch. Changed them. Thank goodness we had some astronomers in our midst and some physicists that act natural.
Got some light conflict. On two, 1, 2. You get one more?
Pretty good collection, but I haven't got them all for sure.
Fred has got one.
Stand on the shoulder?
Trying to.
Nah, I know you. I know that's not the case.